Oh, I have so much to catch up on. Oh my goodness. People are trying to whisper me on Twitch. Ugh. The struggles, chat. The struggles. I'm looking for music. I think Sessions Vi is something we haven't done much of. Let's just do that. There we go. Get a little Riot Games music going. Copyright free, VB. Okay, that'll be good in the background. Then I have my stuff to pull up so I can see chat. Yeah, I'm happy to see so much growth recently on the channel. It's kind of surprising, actually. Brownie man, hello, hello. False. What's false? I forget, chat. If you respond to what I say, I'm immediately going to forget what I said. You guys know this. You guys know this about me. You gotta explain context, all right? You little son of a bitches. Googly Goblin, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Wait, your name is different. I know you followed yesterday, Mr. Goblin, but I don't remember if you actually said anything. It says first time viewer, but or first time chatter. Geargate, Summer 72485. Whoa, it's been a hot minute for you, hasn't it? I remember your name long time ago. 72485. Yeah, you watched me maybe a year and a half ago. Hey, Gary, you should play Osumania. I do have a draw pad. We could try Osu with the new draw pad. I have an iPad and a, not an iPad, sorry. I have an iPad Pro to record my camera. Hello, I'm looking into you. Well, I'm looking at the camera here that records my face, and now I'm looking at you, the webcam. So it's like, it is a little offset, you know? I get a little, the problem is if I look directly at you, I get a little chameleon face going. My eyes are like, kind of just different places at once, but hey, that's the wonders you get. So I was thinking we maybe do Osu because I have a drawing pad and a pen and, you know, an eye tracker, so I think that'd be kind of cool. Oh, I was preemptively saying false for when you said something that made absolutely no sense. Oh, which is never. Midnight Royal Afton, hello. So many people here at the start of stream. Hello, hello. Welcome to the C++ programming stream, where we try to apply our knowledge to C++ and get our asses kicked. Hello, hello. Let me just bring up code blocks here. This is my background. How do you like it? Jism, hello. All right, so let's play. This is Final Fantasy VII, the greatest video game ever made, not the remake. Get that shit out of here. Talking the OG. All right, so we're gonna make we're gonna learn about classes first to help me organize, but then we're gonna make like probably the beginning of an outline, well, probably the actual outline for the whole game we're gonna make, and then we'll start actually making the game tomorrow. This is gonna be classes lesson. Make sure I know that shit. All right, now let me do some of the desktop differently so you guys can actually see what's going on here. Burp, burp, burp. I need to have like a separate capture for like programming stuff, I think. Something like this works for now, probably. Okay, so how we doing today? I was gonna ask if that was Avatar. Avatar? Oh, the music? No. This is Sessions Vi. This is a... Oh, hi, me. This is a free music, copyright free from Riot Games. I can't zoom down anymore. It's Sessions Vi. They have Sessions Diana and Sessions Star Guardian. Star Guardian's probably the best one, but it's a more upbeat than other ones, and we're chilling. We're doing object-oriented, yes. Calling it classes lesson instead of classes class. Ah! The missed opportunity for alliteration. Get your viewers' instances ready. Man, viewers are killing it with these programming streams. I mean, I'm not really one to talk behind the scenes stuff, but yeah, on Twitch. YouTube less so. YouTube streams generally like video game streams more, but man, you guys love your programming. Okay, I didn't realize there were so many C++ fans out there. I thought you were all Python kitties. I thought you were all Python and BASIC and all that shit. Okay, so let me just do a quick refresher on classes. Once we understand inheritance and all that stupid stuff, maybe even... Actually, I have a question. Can you... This is something we're going to get answered today, but this is one of my questions. In a different class, can you, with pointers, point to an array in a different class? I don't think you can unless you do like some inheritance bullshit, but we'll check that out here in a second. Yes, you can. Oh, really? Wait, you don't need to do like, you don't need to like inherit the array or whatever. You can just point to another class. Oh, I guess. Okay, I guess I don't understand classes then. Viewer equals new viewer. Oh, I enjoy Pythonistus as well. That's not a programming language. You made that up. All right, quick refresher. Classes / objects. God damn it. A C++, or AC. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. Yes. Everything in C++ is associated with classes and objects, along with attributes and methods. For example, in real life, a car is an object. Okay, fuck. We'll just go back to the other desk. Hold on 1 second. There. Just so I can, read this real quick. A car, and you still don't see everything. Ugh. There. Perfect. A car is an object. Car has attributes such as weight and color, and methods like drive and brake. Attributes and methods are basically variables and functions that belong to the class. These are often referred to as class members. Okay, so if you have a function in a class, do other classes inherit the function? I guess it's able to, but not by default, then I'm assuming. Let me draw a paint here just so I understand classes. So you have your main program here. Anything in this inherits to everything else, right? So if you have like class 1, class 2, class 3, and then these all inherit with each other, right? But if you have, function here and function here, these do not get inherited to the other classes. Am I understanding this right? Only if your class is a child of the class with the function. Wait, you could have classes of classes? Holy shit, fucking Inception. Wait, you could have like, instead of class 3, you could have like class 4 and class 5. So if there's a function f of whatever in C3, class 5 can inherit it. But if you have a function in class 3, C2 doesn't inherit it, right? It doesn't go to class 2. It's only for classes that are nested in classes. Holy shit, this is gonna get complicated. Okay, so if we're talking video game world, okay, just again, so I understand this correctly, you have our main program up here, right? This is king. If I put a function, like if I prototype a function on the main whatever page above main and display all of that here, does this function get inherited to all classes? Like the same way we have been doing. So if we do like void answer question, god damn it, question int a. If I do that and then put the function here, so void answer question, right? If I do all of this, you guys don't see this, but if I declare it there, does that mean all classes inherit it? No. A vector type you used yesterday is a class. Okay, gotcha. No, I don't gotcha. The vector type we used yesterday is a class. Are you saying the act of... Are you saying that the vector itself that we created was a class? Or are you saying that the vector, like, process of existing is a class of in itself and we use that class to make the vector? In video game terms, a chaos orb inherits from stackable item class, which inherits from item class. Okay, so let's put this another way. Let's use an easier example that everybody knows. Let's do like chess. So the main function is basically, did you lose the game of chess? Like it'll check if you lost, it'll check maybe, I don't even know if it would check the main, what would go in the main function for chess? Would it be like whose move it is and if you lost or won and that would be it? I would imagine everything else would go in separate things. You used the vector class to create an instance of that vector. Okay. An instance is an instance of a class. Okay, is jumping the act of jumping off the ground? What is jumping? Okay, hold on. Let's slow down a little. So in chess, we have our main function. The classes would be the piece, probably just like the piece class, and then these would be like pawns, rooks, kind of deal, right? So the piece class explains the act of a piece. You know, if you knock one out, it goes to the side, it's off the table. If you can only move one piece per turn. And then the individual classes below that are like pawns. These are the rules for pawns. Rooks. These are the rules for rooks. Maybe kings would be the only exception to that, but it could be its own piece. We just have to put a special thing in the main function that says, is king dead? Yes, you lose. Oh no, you wouldn't do that. It's chess. I guess if king cannot move anywhere and nothing can protect it, then you lose, I guess is a better way to put it. Because you don't actually kill the king when you win chess. Gary, when will we go past the theory and get to something that actually does a thing? When I understand the theory, then we can go into it. You don't build a house and just fucking, I don't know how to build a house. I'll just figure it out as I go and then just start hammering wood. You gotta fucking have a plan, chat. Yeah, you got it. Don't think of this in terms of functions. Think of classes as literal objects. For example, a class can be piece, but each individual piece inherits from that class. Yeah, you got it. Okay, I got you. Remember, the class is not an instance. The class is a blueprint. Okay, that's a good way to explain it. So an individual, well, I was trying to think of this in terms of Path of Exile, but not everybody's heard it, but I'm just going to use it anyway. So a chaos orb is not a class. It is like, oh no, it might be. Hold on. Let me see what Geargay said. He's smart. A chaos orb inherits from stackable item class, which inherits from the item stack. Okay, a chaos orb is maybe not a whole class. It's just like an instance of the stackable item under currency, under whatever, right? Yes, I would avoid focus on inheritance for now. Well, no, it's fine. I understand the concept. I'm just confused about, well, not confused. I'm learning about like how inheritance exactly works. You always go down, right? You always just inherit down. So I'm assuming that as we learn about classes, it's going to be like you create a class from here, then you create another class from here. These classes inherit these traits, but not these traits, but they all inherit from the main function. Okay, I understand more now. Let's read about classes. Something like this might be. It's hard to have an ultra wide chat. It's like, look at my screen. This is my screen. It's ultra wide. I'm trying to like cut off the ends so you guys don't get like bothered with like a whole black bar on the top and bottom. I would avoid user defined structures and use composition first. That makes no sense to me. I would avoid object oriented altogether. Well, then why we use C++? If we wanted to avoid all the nitty gritty, we would use Python or some shit. Hiss hiss, motherfuckers. Welcome to the C++ programming stream. To create a class, use the class keyword. Okay. Create a class called my class. So it's class, which is the creation of a class, the name, the program, public, integer, my number, string, my string, and these are just attributes. Okay. I'm assuming, here's what I'm guessing without understanding like the examples below. Correct me if I'm wrong, just because programming is usually what it says on the tin. Class, the class we're creating. Public, meaning that this integer and this string gets inherited by classes below it, but not by the main program above it. So I can establish an integer in the class, but that's only used within this class and anything else that inherits it. But I can't use integer my num in the main program. Is that correct? Python is actually hella object oriented. Okay, compared to C++, is hella the right word? Maybe learn private/public encapsulation, class invariant before. Oh, so the opposite of public is private. Okay. Is private stuff that can only be used by this class and never again? Or can that be inherited? Public is anyone in the program may access those elements. Oh, anyone in the program at all. Oh, so what I was describing was private, which is the idea, if it's private, private can be inherited. So, okay, that makes more sense. So if you're making, okay, private is only class. I don't know if children of that class as well. Private means the only code inside the class itself may manipulate that element, which includes other classes. All non-static members are inherited. Public private ability is a visibility modifier. Oh, that's cool. By visibility, you mean the ability to actually use that code outside of the class. That makes sense. Okay, dig it. Inheritance means private and public. Private means that not even inherited class may manipulate that element. Okay, it's even more extreme. Okay. So private means it really is just this class. Public means other classes can use it. Okay. That makes sense. Maybe I'm using inheritance too much. Maybe I should understand the basics first before I worry about that. Maybe now I should just understand that for now, private means only this class in this code can use this. Public means anything else can use it. Maybe that's just for our purposes. That's fine enough. If you want only the class and its classes that inherit to be able to manipulate it, it's called protected. Okay, we won't worry about that for now. So, hypothetically, if we made chess, class 1 would be like the timer, or I don't even know if you would do that in a class, but whatever. Class 1 would be the timer, class 2 would be the board or something. One class would be the piece class. So the piece class can have things like integers and functions that are just specific to the piece class that you don't want like the timer class to have access to. Hypothetically, I would imagine that would be the most useful in like group projects, right? Where everybody maybe has their own, like, I don't want to say naming conventions. I'm sure there's like some rules for like naming conventions, but like you don't want to run the risk of two different programmers even using the same naming conventions to have the same name of variables or functions. So if you have like a protected class, then anything in that class is safe to use, right? Honestly, I think that the best thing to do would be try experimenting with writing classes. We'll figure it out. I gotta know the basics first. The class keyword is used to create a class called myClass, okay? The public keyword is an access specifier, which specifies that members, attributes, and methods of that class are accessible from outside of the class. You will learn more about access specifiers later. Okay. Inside the class, there's an integer value named myNumber and a string variable myString. When variables are declared within a class, they are called attributes. At the end of class definition ends with a semicolon. Okay. Once I learn how to use a class, we'll try fucking around with it. Create a class called, okay, create an object called myObject and the access attributes class, myClass, public, integer, string. Then you have the main function. MyClass, which is this class, myObject, which is now an... Okay, so this is the equivalent of us making a vector. We are now establishing that this exists and it uses this class. So I have a weird question. Is stuff like double, or I don't want to say integer, that's a little too low level, but it's stuff like that. When I establish something exists, like an array or an integer or a character, am I really just using a class that's very low level? Has somebody else used like assembly or some shit to figure out when the programming language was like made, or C? So I'm just using classes without even realizing it. So we create an object of myClass, access attributes and set values. MyObject dot myNumber. Ah, and that's where the dots come in. So when we did vector dot resize, we were actually accessing the vector class using the resize function. And then that's how we did it. Okay. No, those are primitive / fundamental types. Okay, so those are different. Okay. Classes are user defined. Ah, so like vector and math and chrono. Okay, so, okay, those are user defined. I understand now. MyObject dot myNumber, MyObject dot myString. Then we can print it. Oh, we just print it. Oh, I can do this. Oh, this is easy. Okay, let's do it. Now I get it. Okay, let's make it together, all right? So it looks like we had to, oh, I have a weird question. Do we prototype this or do we actually put it at the top? Like class, we'll call it experiment. class. Oh, do I have to put a parentheses around it? No, I don't. It's really, there's no like input in it. You just do this, huh? Oh, and they automatically semicolon it. That's cute. Vector is a class, integer is not. Integer is primitive fundamental types. Okay, gotcha. All right, so in this class, experiment class, we're gonna have int enter number, and we're gonna have string. Wait, do I have to include string when I use strings? I don't remember. Well, this guy didn't even have a header file in this, so thanks for the vagueness there. We'll just have int enter number, and that's it? Oh, wait, public, right. Public. Okay, that's easy. I can do that. Okay, enter. And then we now have... now we have to establish something. So experiment class. We'll call it A. A is equal to 2. std cout experiment class. Wait, is it experiment.a or experiment? Oh, I do have to clarify. Experiment class dot int equals a. Hold on. Why not do chest piece? Dude, okay, first of all, I'm learning fucking integers, all right? Let's not get as complicated as a chess piece. My class, my object, making that exist. My object, my number, which is in the class. Okay. A, this now exists. Then we have A dot enter number is equal to 2. Then we see out A dot enter number. And that's it. This should appear as 2, right? 2. Okay, I get it. So we made a class. It's public. This public class we then use to establish a variable of A dot enter number, meaning you access the class. We establish that enter number is an integer. This is now equal to 2. A dot enter number, we see out and it's 2. Okay, now what happens if we do private? This does not work, right? It's not even gonna compile. Experiment class enter number is private within this class. Okay. Okay, so it does have to be public. But if I did something like this, enter number is equal to 2. Could I actually print that? Enter number does not name a type. Oh. Can I do that? Does not work. Int experiment class enter number is private. Okay, so it's not that we can't change it. We actually just cannot access it. Okay. Gotcha. Note that if you don't specify anything, elements are private by default. In structs, which you can think of the same thing as a class, they are public by default. Okay, I don't even want to worry about structs yet. Okay, cool. So even if you establish an integer exists, you still can't access it if it's private. Can a class have both public and private elements? Could I do something like private and then do like, of course? Well, let's try it. Let's do int enter number is equal to 2. Then we have int enter number. Ooh, maybe not. I'm trying to make it so we establish an integer under the private setting, and then we declare it. In C++, struct and class is the same, only different in default access specifier. Oh, that's cute. You could create a function inside of your class that can modify int number. Oh, so if I did something like void ask number int a function std cout enter number end line, then could I establish that a dot ask, well, maybe not even that, a dot ask number? Would that work? No. No match for operator Dune Dune. Okay, so this doesn't exist. Did you mean to put a backslash? What, backslash n? Let's listen, when we actually make a program that runs something 10,000 times, we'll worry about it, okay? So why doesn't this work? There's no match for operator OStream. Line 9. Oh, thank you. Still doesn't work. No match for operator. STD OStream, aka STD OStream character and void. Okay, so I'm thinking that even though the function return type is void. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I just need to go a dot ask number. My bad. There. 2. Oh my god, that actually works? Okay, sorry, I was C-outing twice. So, even though the private integer enter number equals 2 is private within the class, if we have a function in the public space that C-outs that integer, it's actually possible to use it so long as we're not accessing the integer directly. Okay, I didn't think that was gonna work. So interesting. So if we want to access certain numbers in the class, all we have to do is just make a simple void function in order to access those numbers. Okay. I don't know what the use of that is, but I didn't even think that was possible. Okay, cool. Line 9 error. Wait, dealer, have I seen you here before? Hello, I don't recognize you. Hi. This enables you to control how others are able to use that instance. Now the question is, can we make a function that changes enter number? Enter number equals 3. Does that work? It does. Oh. You are not accessing it technically. You're only outputting the value of it to console, but you are not interacting. But here I am. I am using a function to change the private integer value, enter number, by calling a function ask number and then changing it. You can return an int pointer, but you're interacting with it inside the class. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. But we can't change the integer or even see out it outside in the main function outside of the class. Okay. I'm now knowing my limitations, but they're limitations in a good way. Okay. Sweet. Is there anything else we need to know about classes before we continue? Multiple objects. Yeah, we can have multiple strings. Okay, that's kind of obvious. Oh, wait, not obvious. So we have class car, public, string brand, string model, int year. Car object 1. Car object 1 dot brand. Model year. Brand, model, year. And then you could see out all 3. Okay, so if you wanted to do something like, if you wanted to like create a student registry in your high school or something, where each student has a name, an age, and a gender, and what you would do is you would create class student, you would then have string name, integer year or whatever, and like integer fucking or Boolean gender or something, right? And then I'm trying to think. And then you could just have like a whole list and like put that onto an array and then sort the array by age. Oh, you could just sort it. You could sort them alphabetically. You can sort them by age. There's a lot of ways you could do it, right? Private methods and attributes are used to hide away implementation details of more complex actions. You can change it from outside, int get number, return enter number. Oh, by getting like pointing to the address of memory it's in. Okay, let's not get fancy here, all right? Let's not impress all the kiddies, all right? So interesting. So this is how you would like actually make. Well, this is like the basics of a database, isn't it? This is like how you would start building a database, is by fucking around with classes, huh? So yeah, you could make like a database of students, separate them by grade, and then even sort them however you want them to, by like age, by name, by whatever. And you could store that all on vectors of variable length. Okay, I get it. Cool. C++ exercises. Create an object. Ooh, exercises. I like this. Hold on. Create an object of my class called my object. Class my object. Oh, my class object. Ah! Sorry, I thought we were making it from scratch. Sorry. Okay, my class, my object. There, we'll do this. Well, we'll do this because my fat head's in the way. Okay, show answer. Easy. Wait, is that it? Correct. Next. Use an access specifier to make members of my class accessible from outside of a class. That'd be public. Create an object of my class called my object and use it to set the value of my number to 15. Class, my class, public, int, my number. So what we would do is you would go my class, sorry, capitalization, my class, A. Oh, sorry, my object. We're going to be specific here. Then we would do my object dot my number num is equal to 15. Easy freaking peasy. Gary class, Gary object. Oh, yeah, and there are libraries programs called object relational mappers which map class instances to database and back. Oh, jeez. Gary object stream -1. Ah! Create a function named my method with no return value, then use my object to call my method inside of main. Hold on, what? Create a function named my method with no return value, and then use my object to call my method inside. This is what we just did, right? So we're gonna have void my method, and then we're gonna call my object dot my method and just see out hello world, right? Chat, C++ is so easy. Create a constructor of my class and call it whatever I want. Call it what? Create a constructor of my class and call it nothing. So hold on. I guess we just call it my object? I'm confused. What they want. Wait, what? Oh, create a function. I'm sorry, Jesus. Okay. Create a constructor of my class and call it my class. Okay, that's confusing. My class void. You didn't learn constructors yet? Ooh, okay, well, let's learn it. What are constructors? Next. Class methods. Methods are functions that belong to the class. There are two ways to define the function that belong to a class: inside, outside. In the following example, we define a function inside of a class. We can name it my method. You can access methods like you would attributes. So whenever you're talking in context of a class, do you have to use this whole method attribute thing, or is it as correct to call them just functions and variables? Like, are we just doing this for like good practice? Like, do you always refer to a class function as a method? Like, hey Joe, this method you wrote is fucked up, man. What the fuck? Now I gotta stay over the weekend. Like, is that like actual, like something you would say? A constructor is a function that is called when creating an instance of a class. Chat, help me. Is there any difference between a struct and a constructor? Because I'm hearing this a lot. Also, Cownfous. I haven't seen you here before. Hello. Hope you like VTubers, because I'm one. People will understand if you use the word function, but method is more accurate. In the real world, people will use both. Oh, okay. So we have class, public, method, then okay, so we have the method. Then in the main function, you establish an object under my class. That object calls the method, which ends the program. Okay, easy. To define a function outside of the class definition, you have to declare it inside of the class and then define it outside of the class. This is done by specifying the name of the class followed by the scope resolution operator. What? So what are you doing here? You have class, public, void, function. So he's declaring it inside of the class. Then you're defining it outside of the class. And you're calling it in the main function, but you do have to specify it as long as you use like the operator, like the standard operator. Okay. Well, I guess you would only do this for like, why would you do this? Why not just have it defined in the class program? Would you not want to do that for just organization's sake? It seems like it would be confusing to call a method in a class and then to have somebody else be like, okay, well, what the fuck does that do? You have to like look way down here where it's called. That seems inefficient. What would be the practical use of like defining a method outside of the class it belongs in? What was that? Kofos! Thank you, Kofos, for following. I appreciate it. You know what, chat? Here, let's get a little freaky with it. For all the new followers today, mwah. We parasocialize here. What of it? Class, I wish. Class. Oh my God. Hi, class. I wish I had another monitor. I can hide that VTubing software. Hello, I'm sorry, but my English is bad. I'm a French guy. Oh, oui, motherfucker. And I like to see you learn C++. That's what we're doing now, baby. We're gonna make a game tomorrow. I mainly worked on something called Expression 2 in Gary's mod. Ha! In terms of actual programming language, it would be Python. Oh, experience. Zamura. Hi, Zamura. And the method implementation in a corresponding CPP file. Salud. To Elus Dumas. To Elus Dumas. I don't know how to say French. I know the phrase Asutoles feoteles praktagots. Did I say that right? Atustoles feoteles praktagots. How does he say it? Hold on. Napoleon versus Napoleon. Oh my God, this is 13 years old. What does he say there? That. I tried to say that. By the way, typically the class definition would go in a header file and the method implementation in a corresponding CPP file. Oh. Sacre bleu. Ah, yes, you pronounced it perfectly. Okay, so you're saying, hold on, we're bringing out paint. So you're saying that under C++, you have your header, right? It's so hard to draw with a mouse. You have your header file. This header file holds all classes that you're going to use in your program, right? So it holds all the classes, go in your header files. But the methods that you have defined in those classes are defined in a separate CPP file. And that's where all of your methods go, right? That the classes use in their whatever they're going to use, right? Is that what you're saying? Header files contain only declarations. Okay. We don't say that? I don't know. Americans aren't all fat, but you don't stop you guys. Americans should use the metric system. I know what you people talk about. God bless the imperial system. CPP files, or C files in C, contain the implementation of those elements. Oh. Chat, how do I make a header file? I feel like this is important. So, under our main program here, we're going to build workspace. How do I actually make a header file? Match case, use regex, regex, whatever. Build, project, search. Is this not something you would just be like, edit, create new? Right click on source. Find file. Chat. Add files. Ooh. Oh, would you save it and then like load it? Yeah, that might be a little easier for you. HPP only for prototypes. Just create a file ending in .h or .hpp. I'd use HPP to make it clear that this is a C++ header file and not a C header file. Okay. So we have a CPP here as like RA function. Oh god. Ow. Ah. Ow. Ow. There we go. Okay, we're good. Okay. So we have files, F symbols, resources. Interesting. There's so much I don't know. Okay. So you're saying though, is that we can make a header file. We're not going to do it now. We'll probably do it tomorrow. So we can make a header file and we can include it in the main program by going, you know, hashtag include name of header file, as long as we include the file with this when we compile it. In that header file, we are only defining classes. Like here, we would do something like, oops. We would do something like, oops, you know what would be easier if I copy and pasted it? Copy. We would do something like this, and this would be the entire header file. It would be hashtag include all classes, or just experiment class. And then in a separate file, in the separate file, in the, what did I say it was? Methods. Methods would go into the CPP file. Would that mean here in this area? So then we would go like experiment class colon ask number void, and then that's how we would declare that. So now when we render, oops. So now when we render, what? No declaration matches int experiment class ask number. What? Wait, chat, what am I doing wrong? Experiment class.cpp. CPP may be confused with the C preprocessor. Preprocessor. Each class will typically have a myclass.hpp and myclass.cpp file. Missing return type, you need to declare the function. What? Like, return, just return? Wait, what? No declaration matches int. Wait, what am I missing? You need to declare the function. That's what I did here, right? Wait, what am I doing wrong? My method. Oh, void? Okay, all right. Okay, you little syntax assholes. 3, okay, fine. Declare, all right? It should still work, yeah. Sorry, we have to declare a void, okay. You say that ask number returns void inside your declaration. Yeah. Backend every single day, Shadoso, hello. If you don't say anything, an int is assumed to be the return type. Why? Why an integer? Hold on, is this like a C thing? I'm learning that every single like pedantic thing about C++ means it inherited it from like C. If we don't, why? Why is it in an integer? Wouldn't void be like the default return type? Oh, maybe for like safety reasons? I don't know, ask the guy who made C. Oh, it is C's fault, motherfucker. C is like the slow cousin you have that you have to like hold his hand everywhere. Cause it's like, God damn it, you wanna go have fun, but you gotta like watch out for your little brother, your little cousin. C's just walking around like, hey guys. Like, fuck. Everything must have a type. Okay, I got you. All right, so with that in mind, chat, what can we build today? I don't want to start building the game yet. We'll worry about the outline later today, but what should we practice for like the next hour and a half with like classes? I wonder if there's anything goofy we could do with it. Not goofy, but like a good lesson. We could do that student registry I was just describing, but I feel like I've already... Maybe the only other thing is like, we could build a registry and then assign those class objects that have that set of information to a vector, and then we can organize the vector based on different attributes on the user input. But like, I can already see in my head how we would do that, so that's not really a lesson, you know? I can already, now that we fucked around with vectors yesterday, like I understand like how to do that. Tic-tac-toe, no, tic-tac-toe is a little bit, I don't want to do anything with AI. Like I don't want to fuck around with that. I don't want to like do like if X is entered in the middle one, put O in the top right. I don't want to do that. Oh, don't tell me to do no 2-player shit. List students that failed. Well, I think we should do something with like, I'm trying to think of something that actually challenges me a little. We could do something like where we build like a database on a class. You could make it pass turns between 2 players. Then it's not fun. You know, if we're gonna make video games, specifically single player PC games, I feel like they need to be like fun every step of the way. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Do you know Cult of the Lamb? There's a minigame called Knucklebones. The algorithm is cool. You want to know something cool about an algorithm? Have you motherfuckers ever played... Hold on, I need to go to YouTube. 1 second. Okay. Have you, speaking of algorithms, have you guys ever played this game before? This game is like the best example of an easy algorithm. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. Basically how gravity works in that game. They actually, it's like an Easter egg in there, how they actually programmed the gravity, and it's just like, so beautiful. You could do networking, tic-tac-toe, massive multiplayer online, do a game of life. Oh, super easy. Wait, game of life. Is that what, is that the game where it's like chaos theory, where it's like if 2 objects are like circled and then 1 object is shared between them, that object is circled, but if an object has no objects next to them, the circle dies? Is that like chaos theory or the game of life? Is that what that is? With Knucklebones, you will use array, random integer, and need to verify the array is full and how many points. correct. Oh, I was correct? Oh, based. Also, they're making a world of goo too. Wait, Amelia Watson's birthday. Okay, chat. I know this is like weeby. I get it. No, it's not weeby. Fuck you. It's VTubing. Amelia Watson is what got me into VTubing. By the way, for those of you laughing at this, these two girls over here, the twins, they currently average like 40,000 viewers a stream. So maybe show a little respect to your VTubing brethren, all right? Amelia Watson, 2 million subscribers. Holy shit. Back in my day. Whoops. Wrong website. Hold on. Then we turn on the music again. Okay, I was expecting worse. Okay, we know classes. Is there anything else I need to know? Parameters. Class, public, int speed, max speed. Int car speed, max speed. Create an object of the car. Call the method with an argument. Oh, that's the same thing. You're just calling the function and just putting a number in. Okay, that's fine. Constructors are special method. Oh, a constructor is a special method that is automatically called when an object of a class is created. To create a constructor, use the same name as the class followed by a parentheses. Wait, what? A constructor is a special method that is automatically called when an object of a class is created. To create a constructor, use the same name as class followed by a parentheses. So class, public, my class, see out hello world. My class, my object. Oh, wait. So this is a method. But this is a... What? So this is a method. But this is a constructor? Wait, what? What's the difference? No. My class, see out this. So just by creating the object, you call the class function? Okay, so screw all this. Does that work? My class, my object. So this runs. It does not. Oh. It does not. When it's called, when you create an object, it may also take parameters. Constructors don't have a return type, and the name is just the same as the class name. Oh. So it's just ask number. And it's actually called experiment class. So now when I call this anything, it works. 3. Wow, that's so weird. So what would be the point of that? Like, why not just make a function at that point? Oh, you know why not? I know why not. Functions usually only ever do one thing, right? But you call it multiple times. So if you wanted to see out, you know, the numbers 1 to 1,000, well, I guess you would use a for loop for that. But like, if you're gonna call a function like, you know, 1,000 times, then you just use a function. But if you're gonna do a class, you would probably only do that if it's like a very complicated function. It's called when you create an object. It may also take parameters. If you create a rectangle, you must specify its length and width, for instance. Those are construct parameters. Oh, I get it. So if it's like int A, int B, int length is equal to a times b length. So int a to 4. So you're saying this is going to return 8. 8. Okay, that's what you're saying. It's because a class can encapsulate all things related to a class. You don't really use a constructor of a class as a substitute for a function. That's madness. A C++ constructor is a bit lame because you can't report failure without using an exception, but that is another can of worms. Oh. So, let's try to think of practical uses for this. And by let's think, I mean I'm gonna think so I understand it. So the practical use of that, the reason why you would call a method from a class without just creating its own function is that you want to enter parameters, but you want to be able to do this many times and then call upon a list? What is the practical use of this? Like, why would you use a constructor? You create a player with his name. But can't you do that in a regular function? Usually it's to initialize the attributes of a class. Oh, I got you. So hypothetically, in video game world, if you wanted to, you could use this to ask the player's name, and that name is going to be like under the character the whole time. It's going to be listed in the main menu. It's going to be the name that's used when you play online. It's going to be the name that appears this name is logged in, right? You want a class of player name. So that way, whenever it gets called on that class, it's always been established from the constructor, and that tells the attributes of everything else. Is that like something you would use a constructor for? Or am I overthinking it? Because that's one thing I could keep in mind. The other would be something like... What would be something that would use that? Yeah, you got the gist of it. Yeah, you just guessed my example. Oh, okay. Interesting. So what's something else in video game world that would not, like, call the name? It would be something like... Yeah, so for example, instantiate the chess piece in a given coordinate. Instantiate the chess piece in a given coordinate. Are you saying, like... Actually, I don't know what you're saying. What are you trying to say there, Geargate? Instantiate. English is your second language, motherfucker, and you're using words that are difficult. What the fuck? That's not fair. Hold on, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna instantiate your ass. That means, I know what substantiate means. Represent as or by an instance of a universal or abstract concept of an instance represented by an actual example. Oh. A study of two groups who seems to instantiate perspective aspects of this. Oh, okay. A piece requires an X and Y on the board. Instantiate means to create a new instance. It means to create an instance. Okay. So a piece requires an X and Y on the board. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So if we had a class called pieces in chess, right? You can create pawn, rook, king, queen, all with their own XY coordinates. And even when you create this, you could probably even insert another function. When you call the initial construct, you could use a function to decide what is the actual movement ability of that piece. So you can create 12 pieces. So it's like a little program in a program to make your programming life easier. I get it. So that way, what that means is that you don't need, now I get it. So now instead of making like 24 functions of all the pieces in the game and their movement abilities, right? You can now create a struct for player 1 and a struct for player 2 in chess, because different pieces are gonna have different movement abilities. Well, maybe not, I guess, because you're like the edge of the board would cut it off. But like, Well, no, pawns. Pawns would be different, right? Because they move in opposite directions. But anyway, it would be like player 1, which is like Boolean, right? It'd be like 1 or 2, 0, right? Player 1, player 2. It would be like Boolean player, like function movement abilities, X coordinate, Y coordinate, and all that. And they would use that to make all of the pieces rather than having like a bunch of different functions to do that same thing. And especially it's a lot more work too, right? It would save the programmer time to use structs a lot because rather than duplicating the work, you know, 12, 20 times or whatever much it would be, you just have one struct, does all the things, and then you give it whatever you need to, right? Yeah, for instance, move int x int y might be a method. It's especially useful so you don't have x1, x2, y1, y2, move 1, move 2 functions. You have piece 1, piece 2. Ah, okay, so that is the use of it. Well, that's also useful if you're gonna do something like Path of Exile or like ARPG. Let's talk in the world of video games. So if you're making an RPG where you have randomized weapons that drop, you would use a lot of structs, right? So if it drops, it's gonna be type melee, type sword, fucking 4 reach, 2 prefixes, 1 suffix. And then the struct would handle all the randomization that you've established before it. So then you end up with, you know, sword dot fucking whatever, right? Functional programmers are hating your talk right now. What? What's functional programming? Wait, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to understand your culture, all right? I'm trying to understand where you come from and what you're about, all right? Lecture me? Wait, what am I getting wrong? I'm getting it right, right? I think I'm getting it right. I think I understand classes now. Object-oriented and functional paradigms are usually at war. Okay, if what I've described is object-oriented programming, then I like that a lot more. Wait, why would you ever not want that? What's the bad part about that? Doesn't object-oriented... Maybe it's slower on the system? I guess would be the problem? But that's fine, right? Listen, if City Skylines 2 can come out the way it is, okay, I think it's fine for us to be a little efficient. Just search object-oriented and functional on YouTube. Ah! We're learning C++ and we really have to do research on other programming types? Oh, you guys are killing me today. I've been watching a lot of Grubby lately. I don't know why. I don't even like Dota. I just been watching Grubby. What was I about to say? Oh, object-oriented versus functional. TypeScript. Fireship. This guy's old. I'm going to trust him.
OO is better than functional. Or is it the other way around? Maybe the next big thing will be better than both of them. This is one of those arguments that exercises developers, and they tend to fall into one camp or the other. Either you think that functional programming is the only sane answer, or OO is the defining approach for complex systems. So what are the differences, and do they matter? What advantages does language paradigm have to offer?
Okay. Just based on everything I've learned about C++ so far, I like object-oriented programmers more, or programming more. I'm more of a fan of that. But I don't understand why functional programmers would not like object-oriented programming. I don't understand that.
And have we found all of the paradigms that there are to find?
Ooh, you can tell he's smart because he has a brand.
I'm Dave Farley of Continuous Delivery. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please do hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, hit like as well. I'd like to begin by thanking my sponsors.
Oh my God. He's a YouTuber.
Check out my new Continuous Delivery Pipelines book on LeanPub, which will help you to get started building. So people built most systems in Fortran or COBOL for a while. Lisp was a bit of an outlier.
Okay, this is above my level. What the fuck is a 4-channel COBOL?
But systems were getting bigger and more complex, so the lack of constraints meant that there were lots of balls of mud being produced. Dijkstra came along in 1968. He wanted
68?
systems to be mathematically
The
proven.
fucking Beatles were still releasing albums. That's like fucking Sgt. Pepper shit.
So he said go-to statements are considered harmful and gave birth to structured programming in 68.
Go-to statements. I've heard about this before. A go-to statement. Oh, I don't want to reset my whole desktop. Hold on. Paint. Paint's always the answer. So in go-to statements, it's like, here is a bit of code. Here is a bit of code. Oh, I need to run this line again. Go to 15, if this was 15. And then I'm assuming it would just continue from there. Go to means teleport the execution of a code here. Okay. God, I would hate this, because what happens if you have to like insert a new line here? Does that mean this gets updated automatically, or do you have to actually manually fucking change it to 16? Oh, that would be horrible. Go to line 49 means to go to line 49. Oh, Jesus. I bet that must be a variable okay sign, right? It's like, you can make that a variable, I hope.
Structured programming works by constraining the flow of transfer of control. You can't just jump to any point in a program as you could in COBOL or Fortran or assembler. You are forced to jump to fixed points that are defined, jump to points in the language, if you like, that we these days call functions or methods. This
fun fact, really under the hood, that's what your CPU is executing. Yeah, I kind of figured that, right? Because computers are very, as complicated and over-engineered as the modern computer is, it really is simple, right? It's just binary. It's all it is. It's just ones, zeros, right? So you start at the very beginning, continue, boom, next line, next line, next line, next line. And it just goes down the list, right? Functions and all that shit you can do by calling. But yeah, that's basically is, right? Yeah, I'm understanding it. A for loop and a while loop has a go-to statement at the bottom to go to the question. Yeah, fair enough.
Allows us to be a bit more cautious at these points. We're forced to assemble arguments, and we can check them for validity if we want to when a call is received. As I said earlier, it's a mistake to see this as some kind of linear progression of language goodness. While all of this was going on, elsewhere in parallel, OO was being invented. The term OO was invented by...
Okay. I'm not sure what I imagine the creator of object orientation programming to look like, but I think this guy is just, he nails it. That is exactly what I always thought. I never thought he would be like.
Alan Kay in 1966, but the ideas that led to it were around for a few years before that, even as early as 1961. The first real OO language was Simula, which was created in 1965.
This isn't really answering my question, but let's continue with it.
There were earlier attempts. The radical OO step, though, was Smalltalk in 1972. The OO paradigm is not really what most people think, though. It's not really about inheritance. And while it is about putting data and behavior together, I think
that's what I thought it was. Oh God, oh shit.
That most OO programmers would say it is much more about polymorphism. Later, Alan Kay said this: I'm sorry that I long ago coined the term objects for this topic, because it gets many people to focus on the lesser idea. The big idea is messaging. I think that what Kay means here is that the real value is that we can send a message to something and it figures out how to process that message. We can send the same message to two different things, and each of them deals with that same message, but in different ways, ways that make sense to them.
Hold on, let me think. Oh God, wait, what's an example of this? So if you have, I'm trying to think about this in the world of video games for like an analogy. If you have an object drop on the ground in an RPG, this drop function can be called upon by either the weapon class, the currency class, the unique item, whatever, and the class. And depending on which class you call, that drop function can fill in the details accordingly. Is that an example of that? You have an enemy class, every enemy can attack, but their attacks are different. Oh, that's a better way to put it. So you have like a boar, you know, a tree, a house plant. They all try to bite you, but those bites mean different things. Okay, that makes more sense. If you have a child, it will have your nose. It's like this.
This is polymorphism, really. This is the real power of OO, not inheritance.
So non-object oriented programming can't do that? How would you make a modern video game in a non-object oriented programming way? Is Roller Coaster Tycoon object oriented? It's not, right? Roller Coaster Tycoon was built in assembly. So it must necessarily be a functional program, right? Phone, smart. Old phone, if smart. Okay, I have no idea what you're trying to say there. This is inheritance? Okay, I get that. Bye-bye, bozo. Hello.
In fact, the 1972 version of Smalltalk didn't support inheritance at all. In Bob Martin's model, this is called dependency management through polymorphism. That's how he characterizes the OO paradigm.
Okay.
The real value of OO is our ability to modularize our systems and deal from the outside with different modules in consistent ways.
Okay.
This is polymorphism. Structured OO and functional aren't the only paradigms. Logic programming constrains programs to follow the rules of formal logic, for example. You could argue that machine learning in its current incarnation is a different paradigm that constrains programmers by allowing them to pick good examples and only define fitness
Chat,
functions.
hold on. Chat, you can tell. Stop. You can tell this guy knows what he's talking about because I have heard from so many. Seriously, how many frames are you? Oh, geez. I have heard from so many programmers or people talking about the subject that when you talk about AI, they're not really talking about artificial intelligence. They're talking about machine learning. So whenever somebody talks about machine learning, I'm like, oh, you are a programmer. Because I have never heard somebody super familiar with computer science call like ChatGPT AI. They're always like, oh, it's machine learning. So I'm trying to stick with that language because I am absolutely the kind of guy who would call it AI because I'm just not familiar with the subject and just do it with utter confidence, right? But I know my weaknesses. Okay. AI is machine learning though. Is it? I don't think it is. When I hear of artificial intelligence, this is getting so off topic of C++. When I hear of artificial intelligence, I think of something that's like a goal to strive towards. It's something that can think and remember and understand, and ChatGPT does not do those things. ChatGPT remembers, quote unquote, for like 2 or 3 questions and then it deliberately forgets. Machine learning is AI. Not every AI is machine learning. I don't think so. I think machine learning is a bad example of artificial intelligence where it's not really thinking about an answer. All it does is pull up some random series of, you know, phrases and numbers and tries to combine them in a way where the user enjoys the answer. That's not really artificial intelligence, right? Machine learning is the discipline. AI is just the outcome of machine learning. AI will not come from machine learning. I don't think so. I think it's going to come from like, I don't know, quantum computing. For instance, you could argue a min-max combined with a search algorithm is AI. Yeah, that's not AI though. Kebab is food, but not every food is kebab. False! Kebab is what you use to make fun of Ottomans, alright? EU4, fuck the Ottomans. Goddamn final boss nation motherfuckers. Usually you would call that classical AI or rule-based AI. I don't know. It's like those German toys that you put one inside the other. Those are Russian toys. I know what you're thinking of. AI is the biggest duel, DLQ, machine learning, deep learning. I feel like AI is more of like a tech bro sales pitch where it's like, hey man, invest in my company. We're making AI. It's like, it's not really. Isn't AI need to be able to learn? Min-max plus search doesn't learn. Pretty much. Yeah, I feel like if you're thinking about AI like a superhuman intelligent computer, AI is every step of computer intelligence. Is machine learning and ChatGPT intelligence? I don't think so. You want to know the best person who taught? Oh, this is such a good example. Hold on. What is her name? She's a YouTuber who is a physics major. Physics. Fuck. YouTuber. I don't know what to call her. Woman. Hold on. Where is it? There you are. Okay, so this YouTuber's name is A. Collier Rastro. I found her when she had 10,000 subscribers, so I'm not going to say I'm ahead of the game on this, but she has 120,000. She makes an incredible video on this. AI does not exist, but will ruin everything anyway. She is so good at explaining this. I love it. Oh, look at that. Oh, she has comparative graphs. Oh, so good.
That works in your deep learning. And so when people make tools using those concepts, they call it artificial intelligence. But that's confusing for the people, because if you put in a headline like AI is a thing that you have to worry about now, people actually think AI exists. Even though it doesn't.
God, she's so smart. Anyway, I would recommend her if you guys would. Fuck it, let's keep watching it.
This video is not going to be a discussion on AI or how to use it or how to make your own machine learning program. I'm not a computer scientist, actually. I got my PhD in physics and I specialized in astrophysics, and machine learning is really big in astrophysics, and I am going to use artificial intelligence and AI and machine learning interchangeably in this video. Well, I have taken the courses and I've done those little workshops.
Look at this. What great YouTube content. She didn't even ask you to subscribe, and it's like a minute in and she's already starting the concept. AI is at the top of the pyramid. Technologies are below. The end user can't understand the difference between when we call everything AI. Really, behind the curtains, it's all statistics.
AI and machine learning tools at my job. I'm not a computer scientist. That's not what this is. In fact, I'm only going to give the explain like I'm 5 definition of an AI.
Good, because I am 5 when it comes to the subject.
Machine learning tool.
Oh!
All right. Imagine you have 100,000 pictures.
Okay.
And they're of all the things, like buildings and vehicles and nature and animals. And you want all the pictures of cats. You can't look through 100,000 pictures. That would take way too long. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a computer algorithm that will sort through the pictures for you. And so when you ask it for cats, it gives you all the pictures of cats. Great. How do you do that? First, you get a subset of pictures, maybe like 400 pictures.
I mean, this is just machine learning in general, right? This is like, well, let's get back to programming. You're right. We'll get out of this later. This is A. Collier. Highly recommend this YouTube channel. Love it. And specifically, not even that video. I actually would recommend the video of, well, string theory. Oh, man. She's an astrophysicist, and she lays into string theory, people. Oh, it's so funny. There is one video, Physics Crackpots a Theory. I would highly recommend this video. This is a great video because she talks about how scary it is to be a woman in a field that's generally you're going to be alone with men for a long period of time. And then she talks about all the crazy people out there that like they talk about like CERN. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love this content. What a great creator. Anyway, enough of this trash. We need to get programming. All right, chat, stop distracting me. Jeez, here I am trying to learn C++ to make a video game tomorrow, and we're getting off topic. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Let me make that a little bit smaller. Can you not snap? Why are you... There. There is LSTM models. OpenAI would be an LSTM. I don't know what that means. All right. So what are we making here? Fuck all this. Fuck all this. We're going to fuck around with classes. All right. Here's what I want to do. let's try this whole struct thing, because I'm more interested in structs than I am with anything else when it comes to like dealing with classes. So when it comes to structs, we don't have to, oh, interesting. Public is always on the first line, huh? When it comes to structs, is there ever a class that doesn't have a struct? I guess that's my question in terms of like practical use in like C++ programming. Are you ever going to make a class that doesn't have like a struct to establish the rules of the class? Is that normal? Because I actually don't know. Actually, I don't know if we need a parentheses there. I hope not, or I hope so. A class and a struct are the same thing in C++. Wait, what? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Constructor. Is that a better phrase? I thought structs and constructors were the same thing, but I guess not. Only a class by default private if you don't specify it. A struct has public by default if you don't specify. So let's stick to classes. So when I was talking about a struct, like if we call this method as like its own thing, like experiment class a, and we just have that, and this is like std cout hello world. So if we do something like this, right, this will render, and this will call hello world. This is called a constructor, right? It depends on your design. Not every struct class needs a constructor. Chat, why did the makers of C++ not differentiate better between struct and constructor? I thought constructor was like the long form word of a struct. Anyway, it depends on your design, huh? Only a class that by default private if you don't specify. Okay. Well, let's fuck around with like this. Let's do class create an enemy. And then we have our function create an enemy. Can I list? I need music. I can't. I don't know how people do anything in their life without music. Holy shit. Sorry, that was as loud for me as it was for you. Apologies. There we go. Get a little funk going. Struct is short for structure. Oh. Class name is usually a noun. Enemy. How many cores do you have to be self-conscious? Ah! Function name is a verb. Okay, well, this is just gonna get called enemy. So I have a question, chat. When it comes to these struct, okay, let me describe what I'm trying to do here, and you guys can tell me what the best method is to like create it. Not method as in this method, but like process. If we want to make a list of 3 enemies, a boar, a rabbit, and a wolf, right? And these are gonna have different qualities like integer enemy damage, integer enemy health, that kind of deal. And then we're gonna make a list. Do I need a constructor in that? Or would I just go like int enemy health? Oh, name of enemy. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm so good at this. Enemy. Cout. Oh, no, we could just put that name of the enemy in there. What? Do I even need a constructor for that then? I mean, because we could do something like string enemy enemy name int enemy health int enemy damage. How many enemies? How enemy relates to rabbit and wolf? Because the idea here is you would do something like, so you would have enemy rabbit, enemy wolf, enemy boar, and then you would do something like enemy dot enemy health, or is it rabbit.enemy health? It would be rabbit.enemy health, huh? Enemy name equals string. Oh god, rabbit. Oh shit, is it single? Oh god, wait, I've never done strings yet. Is it quote? You can save their status in a JSON and then make a function that reads those JSON and deals the damage and do the stuff. The fuck is a JSON? Is that like some Yandere simulator shit? Okay, enemy name. Oh, you know what? We just make this game like enemy simulator where we just have 1,000 nested if statements. Oh, baby. And then we'll put them all into like one giant class. Oh, I watched one 2-hour video on the subject of Yandere simulator programming, and it was so goddamn funny, even though I've never programmed before. It was great. You don't have to prefix enemy on the member variables. It looks redundant. Oh. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, thank you. See that shit? That's some good advice right there. So name equals... do I have to put that shit in quotation marks? I don't know how to do strings. I think I have to, right? Single quotation marks, probably. And then rabbit dot health is equal to 2. Rabbit dot damage is equal to 1. So now if we see out rabbit dot name rabbit dot health space rabbit dot damage /n. Does that work? Huh? Oh. Does that work? T2 1 divided by n. What the oh, sorry. Okay, /n. T2. Okay, so it only registered T there. What did I do wrong? Single apostrophe is for single character literal. For string, you need double. Thank you. Sorry, I've never really fucked around with I never really fucked around with strings yet. Rabbit 2-1. Okay, sweet. So now all that shit is saved. So then could I do something like a function in here that calls that thing? So like void info that, where we don't list anything. I've learned this. Void info semicolon. Then you copy this. Then we do void enemy dot info. And then we do this. Now, can I make it? So now we do enemy dot info. Huh? Expected initializer. Oh, whoops, sorry. STD, huh? My bad. No, STD : Fuck. Wait, I'm messing something up here. For example, your save game file is Stardew Valley and many other games are in a JSON format. You can save things and then read, but don't need to put everything in a variable. JSON is a sexy file format. Well, let's worry about that later. Enemy dot... Oh, thank you. Good shit, thank you. Variable or field info declared void. Yes? Oh. Rabbit was not declared. Oh, shit. Oh. That's a question. Okay. Let's say, chat, we're gonna have 3 different enemies where we need to call every enemy's name, health, and damage via a method. I'm noticing that I can't actually call Rabbit in this here. So I think this is where we need vectors, right? Because a vector would store the information for Rabbit, Boar, and Wolf. Even though we are so I guess that's my question. How do we assign this information to a vector after we create it? This is where we get structs, right? So we're gonna have struct enemy. Right? So it's gonna ask for a string int. Okay, fuck this. So now, every time we run enemy, we run this. String name, int health, int damage. Interesting. So do I have to do like string name, int health, int damage, and then have that be there? Or I guess string A, int B, maybe not. I'm not sure how to like phrase this. Strongly recommend that you learn JSON. Well, let's worry about like this first. So let's think about this. Our goal is to create 3 enemies using a constructor with name, health, and damage, and then call upon all 3, probably via methods, right? You could have put the rabbit info inside rabbit. Too late now. Put the member variables outside of the constructor. Really? So don't have this in the constructor, have it outside of it? Why? So have those outside of it. Why? What would be the point of having a constructor then? Is there a way? You must be able to clarify when you create an enemy in or in a constructor, you must be able to establish some parameters, right? Because if you leave them inside, they are local variables, not class member variables. Now write constructor parameters, which would be established by like rabbit parentheses. Well, now I'm confused because the whole point is to create, using this whole construct thing, to create an enemy for rabbit, wolf, and boar, where we can print each one so it's all stored in its own way, which tells me we're going to be using vectors. Enemy, constant, string name, integer health, integer damage, std string. Huh. Well, we don't need std string, right? Excuse me. We don't need std string for some reason. Oh, because I'm using namespace std. Aha, what a meme. Class enemy. How would we store that information? It must be on an array, right? So maybe what we do So you are right, it is a constant because we never want to change this variable, right? When we establish the enemy, it will always have that health, right? And then we can probably apply a separate multiplier later for whatever reason, right? So it's really going to be std string. I don't know why you have the end sign though. Why is there a pointer? I don't understand that. Int A, int B. So we have name, integer, integer. So when we do this, it's going to be like rabbit 2 1, right? So how do we make it? So when we use our constructor, we input all of that information here. Do we do something like okay, well, I'm less concerned with having good names and everything and understanding concepts first. So when we ask for the struct, how do I apply that information to this information if we have to keep the variables not local? Or maybe even if it's fine if it's local, if we use the rest of it to put it on like an array or something, and then we can point to the array. Health equals A. Oh, wait, I can do that? So std string name. I know this is terrible naming convention. I understand that. C, health is equal to A is equal to B. Okay, I get how horrible this looks, but we're learning here. This health equals health. A inside the constructor. Okay, so I do want that in the constructor then, right? So why? Is that what you guys are saying? Like do this? Well, the problem with this is now in order to call that, we have to assign it to like an array or something and then point to that array, right? We can look at it, then we can discuss it. Also, Rick Stern, hello. Inside the constructor, just do it. Keep the member variables outside. So I'm getting conflicting information here. Are we saying, well, how about this? Before we do fucking anything, does this even work? It won't, but let's see for sure. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna print rabbit. I'm assuming that works. No match for operator, std ostream. What? So I can't print rabbit. Could I print enemy dot health? No. I cannot. There's no conflicting information. This is just syntax. Oh, really? Wait, okay, you keep drawing an arrow there. Are you saying that I actually have to literally draw an arrow in C++? Because I'm assuming that's not what I have to do. I'm assuming that isn't a thing I actually type. Keep the member variables outside. We got some syntax issues here, huh? So member variables are here. Are you saying this'll work? If we just do this? There's no shot this is how it works. So now we're gonna print enemy.health and it should print 2. Doesn't work. C was not declared in this scope. Because it wasn't. It almost seems like we're creating a function, but inside constructor, write this. Arrow is actual syntax. Oh, the Cootie Master. How can I not listen to the Cootie Master? Hello. So the arrow is actual syntax? Write this. health is equal to health. Okay, I don't understand what you're trying to imply there. Int health outside of the constructor, done. Health equals A inside of the constructor. Oh. Oh, so you're saying these need to be separate. Does this work? Okay, fuck the C for a second. Fuck the strings. Hold on. I just want to see if this even works. B was not declared. Oh my God. This doesn't work. Is it rabbit? Oh my God. There, 2. Oh my God, it worked. Okay. Int health is the declaration, health A is the assignment. Okay, I get it. I still don't understand why we do the arrow key. Thank you for everyone who's like, oh my God, he finally got it. Okay, so we're not gonna use the arrow thing. I understand its actual syntax. I just don't understand why you would use it over health equals A. Like maybe for like syntax things, I don't know. But for me, health equals A is significantly easier for me to understand than like arrow key health equals A. Maybe that's better for like something I don't realize, but that's kind of getting it. Okay, now I know structs can operate with integers that are declared after them, which is a-okay. So the question is, how can I differentiate between enemy rabbit, enemy boar, and enemy wolf? Like, can I save values? How do I do that? So we'll say the boar has 4 health, 2 damage, and the wolf has 5 health, 4 damage. How do I make it so every time I declare one of these, it like saves it? This is where we get into like arrays and shit, right? Arrow is for accessing, similar to the dot operator, but for references. Okay, I'm still learning a little bit about C++, so accessing would be like this health equals A. This health equals health. Okay, so you're saying, I still don't get it. For pointers. Oh, is that like a pointer shit? Ah, you people and your pointers. Okay, so we have enemy rabbit, 2 health, 1 damage. So I think this is one of those things where it's like, maybe as part of the constructor, we assign it to like an array. So maybe we have something like array enemy info bracket 2. Sorry, bracket 3, which is 0, 1, 2 as by default. Enemy info damage? Wait, is this where we like nesting arrays in arrays? Oh God, wait, how do you store multiple pieces of info on an array? We can have one array for the group of enemy information provided by the struct. So this is not in the struct at all, is it? It's gonna be down here. Because after we create this, oh no, it must be in the struct. Oh God, so much problem solving. When we, sorry, struct, constructor. When we call on the class, when we create the enemy, we also want to add that information to an array. So I think actually it's both ways. We're gonna use this to store it onto the array, because each piece of info gets assigned to a different spot in the array. And then we have another array to store those arrays. Array is declared like this: int array name, where n is the size of the array. Thank you. You want an array of enemies? Well, the idea here is, hold on, I need to bring up paint again. I draw ideas better than, you know, have them. Okay, so say them. So we have our, so this is our, ooh, ugly. So this is our enemy array, okay? So we have our first array, which goes this direction, which has, you know, rabbit, wolf, boar. And then we have other arrays that list damage, health, name, all that shit, right? So we need a 3D array. So I'm thinking, which array goes where in the construction of the program? I'm thinking this array goes in the main program and this array goes in the constructor, I think. Or both, I guess, can go in the constructor. So or maybe this goes in the main program, this goes in the constructor. I think I'm right. So we establish an array in the main program that gives you some list that you can apply, that you can call on at any time to list what enemies are where. And then you have a constructor that adds information to individual points of the array by creating its own array. So I think part of this constructor needs to be the creation of an array. Where did the array thing come from? What is the problem you're trying to want to solve? The first very important step is to understand clearly what you want to accomplish. Wow, this is data oriented. You just want several enemies? Well, the idea here is that I want to be able to make a system where in order to add the enemy, all I have to put is like name of the enemy, damage, health, whatever information, and have that created somewhere. Right? So I would want a 3D array, so that way I have the array of enemy information, which is gonna need an array to store it all, right? I can't like have an integer here. And then that array gets applied toward another array. We're 3D arraying here. And then now we have a list of enemies where every enemy has its own health and damage, right? And we're gonna keep it super simple, just 2 elements per array, right? I think. So here we need to create an array, which is enemy. Oh God, what do I even call this array? This is gonna be something we create for every individual enemy that is not name specific. So something like enemy info. And this is gonna be list. And this is gonna be an array. Fuck, it's gonna be a variable array. Oh God, are we doing vectors? Oh God. Are we doing fucking vectors again? Oh Jesus. Okay, fuck it. Hashtag include vector. All right. So now we have std vector int enemy info list array, doesn't matter size. So do you want to store an array of enemies? Yes, where each enemy is classified as an array. Does that make sense? I'm trying to do it with constructors too. Obviously, you can just do this all in the main program, but that's cheating. We're learning classes here today so that we can apply it toward the video game we make tomorrow. Not fucking chess. All right, we're making something real. We're gonna make checkers. So I'm thinking is that we have a vector here, and this vector makes a new thing called... No, this can be an array. We don't need the vector here. Oh God, no, we don't need a vector here. We could have an array. We can just have int enemy info list and just have 2 elements in it. But that only works if we assigned that toward a vector. But how do I do that automatically? Can I do it in the class, I guess, outside of the constructor? Enemy info list, sorry. Enemy info list 1. No, spot 0 is equal to A. Enemy info list spot 1 is equal to B. So now enemy info list is like one spot of the total vector we're gonna have for enemies. You're overthinking it. Do it simple first. If you want to do arrays, we can do it later. Each enemy is not an array. The information they hold is called a property. That is a new concept for me. What exactly is enemy info? What data does it contain? This. You want to make an array that holds instances of the class enemy. You wouldn't want to create that in a class enemy definition. You would do that in main. So you're saying I don't need any of this, right? This is what I'm gathering here. Whoops. So what you're saying is that the properties of enemy rabbit are inherent to rabbit? So you're saying that by having this, I have created 3 separate classes? Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm a moron. Oh shit, chat, what did anyone tell me? Oh, so if I did like rabbit.health space boar.health space wolf.health std endle. Okay, this works. Oh, chat, you didn't fucking tell me. Oh, I didn't know how that shit worked. Oh, it's inherent to the class. Oh, this is so, okay. I was about to say this is so confusing. Now I feel like my IQ has been unlocked. I just took the SAT and fucking maxed it. Oh shit, we're going to Ivy League school, boys. So when you create the class object, which I'm gonna be calling class object, this has values associated with it called properties, apparently. And this property doesn't need to be saved in as array because then it's inherent to the object. Oh shit. Okay, wow. This my life just got so much easier. Now we do something a little more complicated and we try to include strings. Do I have to actually include strings? Is that how that works? Okay, so we have construct or constant std string C, and we'll do name is equal to C, I think, where name is an string name. Right? Is this how you phrase this? Am I doing all this correct? Oh, and then we can maybe make a function that like lists all this shit out. Hold on. Ah, whatever. We'll do this the lazy way. Or the complicated way. So std cout rabbit.name rabbit.health rabbit.damage. Oh, I do need an std. Ha ha ha! No matching functions. Oh, sorry. Rabbit. I'm assuming I'm doing all this right. I'm typing a lot here, but I think I'm doing this right. Wolf. So now this should work. Oh shit! Oh shit! Give your parameters good names. This is OCD the shit out of me. No, I'm getting it right. Obviously, we can make this a lot cleaner. I'm not here to make that. We're not here to clean. We're here to fucking learn shit. And I am learning so much shit. Okay, so now we have a way to create enemies. Wow, this is cool. Okay. So now let's do some inputting. Let's say std cout create an enemy. What is its name? cin or std cin And this is going to be a string. So I guess we'll call this std string user name. We'll just call it that, and then username. And then at the end of it, we're gonna call in the construction to create an enemy, and we're gonna list all the info. Andrew Kravesky, hello. Naming things is one of the hardest things in programming. Well, apparently, you know what, chat? I've learned when it comes to learning C++ here, if my chat's biggest complaint is that I'm naming things incorrectly, I'm doing something correctly. Trust us, there's a reason why naming things is considered the hardest problem in computer science. Nobody would care to call it that if it wasn't important. The space of things that you're able to understand grows substantially if you have good naming. Having an I'm too lazy attitude will get you in trouble real quick. Well, if this is all we're doing, listen, chat, we're gonna make the game tomorrow. Then we'll worry about good naming, okay? I know classes have to be a noun. I know functions are verbs. I know integers can be fuck anything. See out. What is its health? Oh, then we need integer user health. stdcin user health. And then stdc out. What is its damage? stdcin. Oh no, we need a int user damage. Always declare variables immediately before you use them. User damage. Okay, now cout. Actually, you know what we should do is have new lines in between all of these. Now it's this is your enemy. Then we're gonna do that. Okay, so now we make the class call. So enemy. Ooh. I guess we can just input username as the name, or user enemy maybe. That might be the better way to put it. User enemy. The string is string user name, comma. Then we have user health, comma, user damage. And that is the entire construction. So now we just print it because this will do all the work, right? So we have user enemy dot user name, user enemy dot user health, health. Sorry, we just need a name here, don't we? We're actually gonna test this. Name. User enemy dot damage. So if I did this right, what should happen here is that we're gonna ask the user for a name, health, damage, use a constructor in a class to create the enemy, and then call upon the user's name via the created enemy. Okay. Where is enemy user? User enemy? It's, well, we're creating it. By using keyword enemy, this is our class that we created. So user enemy is the name of the enemy. Hence user enemy name, health, damage. This should work. It doesn't work. Oh, sorry. std : cout. All right, now we can work. Okay. Create an enemy. What is its name? We'll call it chat. What is its health? 1. What is its damage? 1000. This is your enemy. Chat 1000. Chat, I am so goddamn good at C++. Holy shit. You all didn't believe. Gary, you have terrible names for your variables. Ah, we're getting it. I'm proud of that. Look at that. We got a little thing. I think we're ready to make our game tomorrow. In fact, now it's really quick to make an enemy, right? Even if we didn't ask the user for all that shit, because now it's just like, boom. All the things we need are right there. Now, here's a question, chat. Here's a really weird question. Let's say we have another class. Hold on. I have a C++ question about class stuff. One second. Let's do sessions, Diana. So let's say I have a combat system, chat, that like, depending on the enemy you're fighting, you're going to be hitting an enemy, right? How do I make it so that all of these enemies can be hit, like variably? Do I just put when you hit anything from enemy class, subtract its health? Does that make sense? Like if we have a combat system where they hit me, I hit them. How do I, because I can't always rely on the guy hitting the same enemy, right? I'm not gonna make like a million functions, like if you hit a rabbit, if you hit a boar, if you hit a wolf. How do I make it so that when you start combat with an enemy, it calls the specific enemy stats? Does that make sense? Like if we run into like the JPEG of like a boar, it'll call, oh, it's name boar, health 2, health 4, damage 2, yada yada, right? If that's the case, create a damage function for your class. But how do I make it so that when we do this damage function, you're saying put it up here with the class. So you're saying if you have combat with anyone from enemy class, here, let me close out of this. If you have combat with anyone from this class that you create using this class keyword, then you can use this damage formula. But then my question is, how can I differentiate automatically between a rabbit, boar, and a wolf? Right? This is one of those things where I'm not thinking out loud. I actually want your guys' input here. Like, how would I... Like, I can't always know that, right? Especially with games with like a random element, like a random like combat out of nowhere, like Final Fantasy VII. Like, how would I make it so that... you know what? Actually, I'm figuring it out in my head. Now I get it. So what you can do is you could have like, if you really want that, like do some random thing, but basically you call upon one of these enemies at random, and then those can be found, like 2 rabbits and a boar or something like that. The difference between a rabbit, boar, and the wolf is going to be the values of their properties. Basically what you would do is enemy take damage, and then the function inside would take into account the enemy's defense or other stats. So enemy.take damage. So I could do something like a new function down here called int. You would be returning an integer, right? Take damage. And in this function, all we need to input is something. And then it's like enemy.health -1. Is that what I'm doing? This is what I mean. Like, how do you make it generic enough? Or maybe I just do health. Health minus user attack or something like that. Like, how do I make it so that when you subtract health, you reach 0, but it depends on the enemy you put in, you know? Does that make sense? Wolf.take damage wouldn't be the same as rabbit.take damage. Okay. You would pass the damage they took from being hit as a parameter to this function. Okay, so this would be int damage taken. Int enemy damage taken. Actually, I probably shouldn't call that enemy, but whatever. Int damage taken. Damage taken would be health equals health -1 minus user attack. Oh, you know what? It'd be int damage taken, int user attack. Something like that. Where B is equal to user attack and then do it from there, you know? Is that kind of what the idea here is? Oh, you want polymorphism. Oh God! Object orientation. Sounds like a perfect example of inheritance. Ah! See, that's why I asked. Since your rabbit and wolf are two different instances of the class, then each have their own stats, and calling the damage function of one will not affect the other. You would only need one parameter, probably. You think so? Oops. Okay, I get it. So we would have a function inside of take damage based on an input of damage taken, which is us giving it to the enemy. But how do I just put enemy? No, that's declaring, oh, that's the class. That's not really an object. How do I make it so that the individual enemy takes, do I just do health? Minus, or health is equal to health minus damage taken. And then we just keep inheriting that over and over. Not inheriting, but health is equal to health minus damage taken. Yeah, I kind of got that. In int A, int B, etc. you need to pass. Entity is a good name. Usually you want something like entity take damage, or the program reads entity if it is. Oh, that is a good one. We'll remember that for tomorrow when we make the game, boys and girls. We're ready. Again, classes was like the one thing I was kind of fuzzy on. I was like, I don't understand this, but now I get it. So now whenever we call the take damage function, this happens. So I guess what we do now is STD, C out, now kill it. \B. Then we're gonna be, now what do we do? How do we do this? Maybe not int. No, oh, wait, hold on, I'm brain blasting here. Hold on, this, first of all, needs to go down here. Okay, so now, why do I keep typing /B for like a new line? Also, reset damage taken afterwards. Each instance of your enemy class is going to call their own version of this function that only affects itself. Oh, okay, so let's do something like, this is one of those things where I need a function in a function, huh? So this, or maybe we can just do something simple, like int user attack. Whatever, int attack, just for now, is equal to 2. Now we do enemy, oh no, rabbit, oh no, user enemy dot take damage, parentheses, attack, if user enemy dot health. You guys don't see any of this, do you? What the fuck? There you go. If user enemy dot health is greater, is equal, oh god, is less than or equal to 0, std c out, you killed it. I hope you feel bad. Else std c out, you've died. Okay, let's try this. You create an enemy. What is its name? Chat. What is its health? 2. What is its damage? 1,000. This is your enemy. Chat, 2 health, 1,000 damage. Now kill it. You killed it. Okay. Okay. That is helpful. Yeah, well, sorry. Oh, sorry, did I not scroll? That's all the way down. You guys see it all. That's everything. Okay, I get it now. This is our little make an enemy and kill an enemy simulator. So fuck the rabbit stuff. We're creating an enemy now. You can write a member function bool is alive constant. Why would you make it a constant? Maybe that's my question real quick. Why are we doing stuff like constant std string or constant is alive or something like that? Like, why have constant? Like, the string is never going to be changed, right? Like, why do I need to establish that's a constant? I don't understand the use of using that keyword. Like, if I just took this out, does that break the program? No, it didn't. It took Sven 3 weeks to get member function constant qualifiers. Let's not introduce that now. Ah! Who's Sven? Anyway, we're gonna make a little game. I think we're ready. Don't worry too much about const as a parameter keyword. That's more in the weeds stuff. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do, chat. Let's make the outline to the game we're gonna be making tomorrow. Let's talk about it. I think because I want to make a video game that is more or less along the lines of desktop dungeons, but more roguey. No AI, no multiplayer, none of that shit. It's just gonna be you against environment, which is like my favorite kind of game. So we're not gonna get overly ambitious. We're gonna be simple, but it's definitely gonna be the most involved project yet. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a program where the goal is, what do we need? We need class enemy, class hero, class, I don't know, inventory? That's probably matters. No, I don't want an inventory. Fuck that, that's too complicated. Let's make it really simple. Just class hero, class enemy. We're not gonna do graphics yet. It's gonna be basic. So the idea here is we're gonna be dealing damage to enemies. Do we make a text-based game or do we do an ASCII-based game? I feel like it would be good for us to have an ASCII-based game. Mind if I ask why you're starting with raw C++ instead of like an engine? Okay, that's a question I get a lot. Why is Gary the Goo Boy doing C++ raw dog instead of doing like Python or some other engine like fucking, I don't know, people always said one engine, I always forget the name of it. The reason why is because one of my unequivocal, rage-inducing aspects of video gaming that I really hate is when I turn on a video game with my computer that has a water-cooled 4090 and a 13900K, 128 gigabytes of RAM, and it's like lagging and unoptimized. It drives me up the fucking wall. I hate it. And you know what, chat? I want to be the change I see in the world, and who doesn't want to make a video game? So the idea here is we're going to make a video game. We're going to do it in C++, which is like the most like as bare bones as you can get before assembly. And we're going to make it efficient, right? We're going to do some cool shit. Like, wouldn't it be cool to make like a Toho game where you have like 1 billion bullets on the screen, but because we're doing C++, it doesn't lag your computer to infinity like it would in like Flash or Python? That's why I want to do it. And I don't want to do no game engines because like Undertale was made in a game engine. And do you want to know what that dude, Toby Fox, was doing? Like 90% of the time he was making Undertale was fucking messing around with the game engine, trying not to get it so the game breaks. It was like, that was like his life. And that does not sound fun to me. I would rather do programming. Is that a good enough reason to make a game in C++? Probably not, but it's my reason. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's design this game. So what's the basic of it? We're gonna have a weapon, we're gonna have enemies, and we're gonna have the hero. I mean, we can mess around with a board. I'm gonna call class board here. I don't want to, here, look, you know what? Let's not even do that. Fuck all that. We're gonna do just step by step here. What's our step? Create a board, create a map, then we'll call it that. We'll create a map with like 3D arrays and shit. Then we're gonna create a hero. Create a monster. Make a very basic chat battle system where it's like I hit, enemy hits, I hit, enemy hits. Think like simpler than Pokemon. It's no speed, just straight up battle system. Make a fail state and a win state. And that's it. That's gonna be our goal tomorrow. We're not gonna worry about inventory. We're not gonna worry about items. We're not gonna worry about anything. All I want is a map that allows movement. This is all gonna be an ASCII. We're gonna create a map, create a hero, allow movement. We're gonna create a monster that will not move. Stationary. We're gonna make a very basic battle system to kill that monster, and then we're gonna make a fail state if we die and a win state if we win. That's all I want to do tomorrow. That's gonna be our whole stream, is making this game, right? The reason is because I don't want to be overly ambitious. Like, I feel like this alone is gonna take me like 3 hours. Sounds like a roguelike? There is nothing random about what we're gonna do. We're gonna know how much enemy health the boss has. Now, here, we'll do a little bonus credit. Allow the hero to pick up a sword. Allow this sword to be the difference between winning and losing. That would be the bonus credit tomorrow. Basically, then we have to mess around with like not an inventory system, but like upgrading your weapon, and that's it. That's all it's gonna be. Just increase your damage by 1 or something. That's gonna be the bonus credit. So is this like a good place to start tomorrow, chat? Ooh, actually, I don't like that. How zoomed in that is. There, we can do that. There. I think that's a good goal for tomorrow, right? Ever playing Zork? A Zork-like text game sounds good for starter project. I watched a guy streamer for a year. He learned C-style C++ for 2 years, and he hated constant, avoided it at all costs, and it's painful to watch. Oh, God. You can write pretty shitty C++ code if you aren't terrible, but I get your sentiment. Or if you aren't careful. Moving asking on the screen sounds like a plan. Moving asking on the, oh, like ASCII? I got you. Well, the idea here is the map is gonna look like this. It's gonna be like dot, 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 dot. Dot accumulate, thank you. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. Gonna copy that a few times. Like, this is what the map's gonna look like. And your hero is gonna be like this. And the enemy is gonna be like this. And the idea here is we can take our little hero and we can move him right, 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 down, right, hit the enemy, hit the enemy, hit the enemy, dead. That's all I want to do tomorrow. And that sounds so basic, but I feel like at my level of C++, this is like right on the money. And I want to do classes and shit, so that way I can be like, oh, you want to pick up the sword? Well, there's your sword. Go pick it up. Ooh. And then you go kill the enemy and you win. This sounds like a good start. Yeah. Thank you. So it will look like a rogue game from which the name roguelike comes from? Yeah, basically. You're gonna need a console API to do that. No I don't. Motherfucking std cout \n. Bitch, I don't need no engine. I got cout on my side. Literally stone crawl dungeon soup. But I don't know if Ming W can do that. But anyway, I think this is a good start. I think this is super basic. I can do this in one stream. And once I do that, especially if I do the bonus credit, I'll be like, okay, now let's worry about like different kinds of enemies on the stream. Like, let's say this is a Hydra or something. And this is like an axe or something. And you need to pick the right weapon or something like that. We can get a little more complicated with it, but this is like the basic of what I'm talking about, right? And then once I get familiar enough with this, or once this game advances to the point where like I know what I'm doing now, I can then worry about like OpenGL, which is probably what we're gonna use for a graphics engine. And then instead of like ASCII, we're gonna have like, you know, graphics. And then once we get to OpenGL, we'll worry about like graphics functions, but let's make sure we can make the game first. Windows API header is good to go. You can use STD system CLS to clear screen and render the terminal, but that's gonna flicker a lot. OpenGL, Jesus, good luck. Well, I don't know, is there a better graphics engine to learn C++ graphics on? Or is there a better graphics engine to apply our basic knowledge of C++ to at a beginner-friendly level? And I feel like OpenGL is it. Sick you're learning coding? Is it difficult? Xeon, hello, I haven't seen you here before. Not for me. I feel like my biggest trouble with C++ is just learning syntax, but with chat here, thankfully, I can generally understand concepts pretty well. And we're gonna make this game tomorrow, so this will be fun. I've never used Ming W, so good to know. Literally N curses is all you need. OpenGL is the standard, but it is opposite of beginner friendly. Ooh. Okay, well, we aren't starting our graphics adventure yet. Let's give it like 2 days, okay? Then we'll worry about graphics, and I'll have time to do research. Probably tomorrow morning is when I'm gonna be doing research on my own. But look forward to tomorrow. Yeah. Chat, I have a weird question. No, never mind, it's not weird. Because if we're doing like outing to like print out the map, that's gonna be pretty hard to like, it's gonna be pretty hard to like apply to graphics easily. But anyway, this is the goal tomorrow. 3 hours, we can slam this shit out. And then we'll have our first video game. Who followed? What the fuck? Wait, I can't see very well. My stream is blurry because I have it on low resolution. Xeon followed, oh, thank you. Are you older or younger than Xeon processors? Because I know what those are. My dad had them. All right, everyone, that's it for today. That was fun. We learned a lot about classes. We're gonna be able to apply all of our knowledge. I stream every single day. Hold on, let's get out of here. Yeah. Remember, oh, well, you guys don't see my desktop, hold on. My desktop is beautiful, I love it. I got a new wallpaper. How's that? Huh? How's that for a pretty ass wallpaper? I love Final Fantasy VII. Listen, chat, it's either that or you have the bikini shot. And I feel like you guys are not mature enough to handle that, all right? So everyone, have a good night. Have a good evening. Fonzie, we're making a video game tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. We're making our first video game. It's gonna be a roguelike. By roguelike, I mean it's not gonna be anything like a roguelike. Have a good night, have a good evening, and as always, I give you guys have been good today. You know what you guys get? See you guys tomorrow. We'll make a video game then. Goodbye. Remember, I'm in the Discord too.